To this point in our tutorials, we've gone over how to create farms and fields, how to create boundaries, how to bring them in, how to then set up different trials based on our equipment and sizes and what we want a variable rate, how to then get that data we need to get it out in the field. We're going to apply that data, then we've already gone through and we've already added that raw yield and those as applied data to here, done our prices, we've processed the data, and now our reports are ready to view.
We're going to go ahead and click View Reports. And there are lots of different ones. There's the trial design, the analysis, final processing, data processing, grower, and then data processing non-experiment. So we're going to, first of all, we're just going to really focus on the grower report. These other ones are more academic in nature. Just want to look at that grower report and see what we learn. So here it's just going to be a trial summary. This is just some default information of the size, plot width, plot length, the targeted rates, producer status quo is 40 gallons per acre. $4 corn, $2.50 per gallon UAN. This goes through and kind of does a summary of the test, tells you applying the different rates and how it would do. We have our targeted rates we targeted here versus our as applied rates, and then our mean yield in each of those treatment areas, and then the profit for each one of those. This is just talking at our optimal uniform rate. If we look at all these rates, the rate that was best, that was the as applied rate, our 40 gallon was actually a 48. And that 48 optimal uniform rate across the whole field, if we were to use one, would have been 48. So if we were to switch from that 40 gallons to the 48 gallons new uniform rate, we'd gain $32. Profit from switching from the status quo strategy to the optimal site specific, so that's using variable rate throughout the field in different areas, it wouldn't gain you any more money. So saying the 48 gallons per acre was across the whole field was the best there. So this is just the trial design implementation. You can kind of see maps of what the targeted rate was versus what we applied it. So the targeted rates were the as applied were a little higher than the targeted rates here. I'm not going to go through this in lots of detail, just kind of show you some information that's here. And if you'd like more information, we could definitely meet with someone to talk more about these things. This is just looking at misalignment of where maybe the planter or the applicator was in different spots than the as applied data, so you might have harvested an area that wasn't a treatment or a mix. So it gives you some of that there. We're not going to go in a lot of detail there. This is just kind of a yield response, the big broader picture. So this is just the average as applied UAN, the kind of categories here. You can kind of see the different targeted rates here versus what our yields were, our profit was, and this is our yields in this one right here. So you see as we increased in rate, until we kind of leveled off around in here. You can see our profit went up as we went from 18 to 26 to 31 to 40, and then that 48 rate we had the highest bushels and the best profit. We went up to that 59, it went down. For our profit there, on field characteristics, so we input some of that data, we're able to do some elevation by default, but we can also input other maybe soil test information or zone sampling and things like that as well. So you can see kind of on the low elevation what the mean yields were and the profit, on the medium elevation and on the high elevation. And this is kind of a map of your field of where those areas were. And this is just a profit level by that. You can see how it goes up until it maximizes about that 48. Kind of the same on both the low slope, medium slope, and high slope areas. And this is from data that is pulling from online resources for slope and things like that. And this is a summary of economic results, their implications, kind of going through there of how it would be changing from your current rate of 40 to 48. You get an average increase of $32 per acre. This is your optimal UAN rate. It's kind of the same across the field. Kind of again a change in management strategy, estimated gain from doing an optimal uniform rate, no additional gain, so $32 from doing the optimal uniform rate, no additional gain from doing a site-specific rate, so varying. Then next is just an overview of the data processing. Tells you the rates and the yields, kind of a yield map for each of the different rates. And here, this is a compensation calculation. So what this program tries to do is if you lost money from your status quo by doing the trial, that we can then reimburse you for that. So that kind of goes through and it analyzes your status quo data, which is in the blue, versus your trial data, to see kind of if you lost money, if you gained money based on that. And that's just another figure showing the trial data, status quo data. And then if we kind of summarize all that, we can see here for this certain one, there are 65 observations, the profit difference was about 0. So area in the trial rate for 9, total compensation. So this farmer didn't lose money by doing the trial, so we didn't compensate him for that, but they still get the $1,000 for being part of the program. So that's kind of an overview of a nitrogen test. And we'll also do some more examples of some seeding rates and some with and without, like a product. So like pivot bio, with pivot bio and without. You can see some other videos on that.